What's up, Dudesters? This is the BlueFireDudester. I'm a Masters Brand Mid player. I have 3 million champion mastery with Brand, only playing Brand Mid. I don't play Brand Support, I don't play Brand Jungle. I'm making this guide because I want to see more Brand Mid players. I want more competition. By making this guide, I'm putting a target on my back, and others will know my strategy and what I know. But nah, I'd win. The sums you will be taking almost every game is Flash Ghost. This is so valuable as you can just run up to people and RE them during team fights and force a fight mid lane. It allows you to progressively posture yourself in the lane and allow you to run away from jungle ganks and support roams. You will be maxing WE every game. Every single game you need the wave clear. You want to sometimes shove and go to a team fight, etc. Or you sometimes just want to shove and have the wave clear to fucking go to drag. Now let's get to the runes and builds. I only go 2 rune pages as of now. Comet and Dark Harvest. I think for both, Scorch is very fucking important for mid lane because it allows you to do a lot more damage than you normally would. And it allows you to like win lane or do your job. I love Dark Harvest, but currently there's a game-breaking Dark Harvest bug with Brand, which basically doesn't allow Brand passive to proc Dark Harvest. So Riot, please fix this. I think both mana is very important for Brand because of they changed Liandry's, so now it doesn't give mana, and yeah, you don't have Lost Chapter to sustain mana at all either, so it's very important to have presence of mind. I used to absolutely love going something like this. I loved Approach Velocity, but I can't go that anymore because it's so mana expensive at the moment. Never, ever go cut down. Never go cut down. You would think that this is a good rune page on Brand, but it's actually terrible. You get no damage from it because of all of your items that you'll buy normally on Brand give you health anyways. Liandry's gives you health, Rylai's gives you health, and Riftmaker gives you health. Okay, so this is my build for Brand at the moment. I go Liandry's first item, Sorkshu second, and then Riftmaker third. So I go this almost every single game. The difference is sometimes I would go Sorkshoes if it's a very aggressive matchup or a matchup that I need to like keep in lane. I go Sorkshoes first item. The reason why is because Sorkshoes offers pen, right? And when you think about it, Comet is magic damage, Scorch is magic damage, and all of Brand abilities are magic damage. And so by having pen, you actually turn this magic damage into basic, and also burn is magic damage, right? All of his damage is magic damage. It's not true damage. So having Sorkshoes actually turns that damage basically into true damage for the early game. So every time you hit somebody, it's actually gonna pack a punch. So having Sorkshoes early game is really important. I would only do this into like aggressive matchups like a Katarina or like basically most assassins or matchups that I need movement speed in. I would get Sorkshoes first item. But I'm fine with going Liandry's, Sorkshoes, Riftmaker, and then I go this. If I'm running Comet, so I go this. I'm fine with going like this. Rylai slows them down. And also an important thing to know is by having this, just one Brand ability stacks your Liandry's and your Riftmaker to full. So that's one important thing to know. So I would go, yeah, Rylai's, Shadow Flame, Crypt Bloom afterwards. If I'm running Dark Harvest, instead I would go Sorkshoes, Liandry's, Storm Surge, Shadow Flame, Void, Rylai's. I just go full fucking pen. And I just try to make that Dark Harvest into true damage. And the Storm Surge is basically another Dark Harvest, so it's just like basically you get like 2 Dark Harvests attacking people. But most of the time when I'm actually going this rune page, I would have to actually like probably buy an Oblivion Orb and then go Shadow Flame. But most of the time as Brand, you're honestly never going to like buy full-on Morellos. I almost never finish this item. I only buy Oblivion Orb because it offers so much just for 800 gold. So that's very important. But one very important tip to note is that when you buy Liandries, you're gonna have something like this, right? You're gonna have your Dorans, you're gonna have your Liandries, and you're gonna have your Sork shoes. Every single time, I mean every single time that you buy Liandries, you want to sell your Doran's ring. The reason why is because you want to poke your enemy down, right? So let's say these are the front line, these are the back line, and this is the enemy, right? One important thing to know is that if you have a Doran's ring, and you actually like try to W and then E this, the Doran's ring plus Liandries will just one-shot the backline minions. So just by Wing, it will immediately one-shot and you will lose 400 damage on your enemy that you would have had you just sold your Doran's ring. So I almost always sell my Doran's ring. Alright, to land your WE on somebody, there are like 3 ways to do it. The first one, not carrying. The second one, you do it by standing on her side. She's standing on this side, I stand on this side. When she crosses to that side, she's crossing these minions and she'll get hit. That's the second way. And then the third way to do it would be W her feet. And then even if she dodges the W, she will get hit by the E. Alright, most of you guys know the brand combos, one of which is EQW. The other one is WQE. QE. And then this one's my favorite combo. It's the Q flash. Alright. The last combo, the Q flash, I had to practice it all through platinum. What I would do is for like a week straight, every single game I would attempt it and I would just I would lose LP from it. But it was worth it. It's a good investment. Alright, I made a diagram for you guys to see. Shout out to Peckinwoof because I used to watch a lot of his videos and watch his brand mid videos, and then I would just be like, okay, let me clip his videos and then rewatch it in slow motion and try to do it. If a person's moving away or moving towards you, it's different, but this is the yellow is where generally you want them to be standing before you Q flash them. So the combo goes like Q and then flash and then E, and then you could do whatever you want afterwards. As soon as people see Brand, they immediately want to dodge his abilities. They are scared of you, unless they're stupid. Here are the matchups in mid lane. I separate them by archetypes so it's easier for me to make sense of it. We have the goalkeeper, so you will be playing this lane basically trying to keep this person away from your bot lane, away from your jungler. Don't give them prio. You do this by shoving them in, poking them, matching the bases, spamming chat saying, hey, this person has prio. An example of this is you play super aggressive into an Ahri so that she uses her ults mid lane. Another example is keeping Katarina in lane for most of the game. All in versus poke. This is another matchup. Basically, their health bar is the entire matchup. If the action is low, if the Tristana is low, if the Diana is low, if they want to all-in you, they really can't. They will just die. So pretty much try to poke them in and then try to have an aggressive trade after their half health and handshake that trade, you know what I mean? There's the sustain matchup. Sustain matchups are like Nasus, Akali, Tryndamere. Those matchups, you almost never can kill them. So don't worry about killing them. Just focus on staying in lane, having pressure, matching them, and poke them a little bit if you can. Your best friend is going to be Presence of Mind. Presence of Mind allows you to hit them and also have mana back. Because you're going to be spending a lot of mana hitting them, shoving the wave, all that stuff. So you need Presence of Mind in that matchup. The range versus range matchup. Those matchups is really, really, really hard to snowball because both of you have range. And if one of you walks into the range, you can't kill the other one. Those are matchups kind of like Zyra mid or let's say Zoe, Gangplank. Those are the Jace, Karma. It's very hard to walk into their range, and it's also very hard for them to walk into your range. So it's pretty much an even matchup, but one thing you can do is just try to have favorable trades, and then when you have favorable trades, then you can try to make an aggressive trade like a flash into them and try to kill them. And then there are lane bullies. These matchups are extremely hard to win. It's the Anivia, her kit just fucks with yours, and Annie, her kit just fucks with yours. Those are the lane bullies. I honestly think those matchups are just unwinnable. I forgot to mention the shove matchups. So against Xerath, against Victor, you want to shove them in. You want to use your abilities onto the wave so that they use their abilities on the wave as well, because they outrange you at the end of the day. But they can't poke you. I mean, they could choose to poke you while you're shoving them in, but that means they lose CS at the end of the day. Alright, I like talking about macro. Let me talk about macro. So, this is brand macro for the mid game. 90% of the game is early game, and that's all that matters, understanding your matchups and everything. But macro is also important when you reach it, so you kind of want to know what you're doing. So brand macro is, because of Brand is a really good team fighter, brand macro is based off of who can start the team fights. So you look at your comp, and you look at the enemy's comp as well. In this sort of comp, where you have a Nautilus and the enemy has a Blitzcrank, you 100% all you want to do is you want to hover behind your bot lane and wait for a fight to start, and then as soon as a fight starts, then you go in. You can hide here, you can hide here, and then when a fight starts, you ghost in and you do something about it. Right? That's if it's aggressive. If it's a passive bot lane, right, Nami versus Yuumi, then you just go to the side lane, right? A fight is most likely not going to start because of these champions. They just won't start a fight. Nami's just gonna, Yumi's just gonna hide behind Ezreal or Caitlyn or something, and a fight's most likely not gonna start. So that's for supports, right? Supports are most likely the ones who are gonna start a fight, because they're gonna, like, the ADC and support is gonna take mid lane. But besides that, if there can be a secondary person who can start a fight, and that is anybody else. So let's say that there's a Kled on the team, on your team or on the enemy team. There are two ways to think about it. If they're on the enemy team, then you want to see where Kled is on the map. If you don't see Kled on the map, you want to just hover behind your bot lane and wait for a fight to start, and then you go in. Like, wait for a fight to start, like from the Kled. Kled's gonna start ulting your bot lane, and then you go in, right? Or if there's a Nocturne on the enemy team, and he's gonna be hiding in the jungle for most of the game, right? He's gonna be hiding in the jungle, blah blah blah. Most of the time, you just want to be hovering here. You just want to be hovering. No matter what's happening down here, you want to be hovering here, because Nocturne is just gonna ult your bot lane, and then you can go in and kill him. But if the Nocturne or the Kled is on your team, what you want to do is, so let's say there's Kled or Nocturne on your team, right? What you want to do is, as a brand, you actually want to side lane, and then when you see your Nocturne has ult up, then you go back mid lane, and then you don't start a fight. You wait for Nocturne to start a fight. You don't have to ping him at all. You just have to play off of his ult cooldown. Play off of his ult cooldown. If he has ult up, he's most likely going to start a fight. Or if he seems strong, he's most likely going to start a fight. So just hover around mid lane, don't show, and wait for him to start a fight, and then you walk in as soon as he collects ult. Or same for Kled, same for a Scion. As soon as you see them starting a fight, then you go in. Now let's go back to side laning. So let's say there's a passive thing here, going on here. You're going to be side laning. Now, what is Brand? Brand is a burst mage. He has burst like an assassin, and he's a mage. His dad's an assassin, his mom's a mage. He's both, right? So, two things. Because he's a burst mage, that means his macro is kind of weird. His macro is really, really weird. He can hit tower. Most people think he can't. He actually can hit tower, and I'll tell you how. This is what I do. If there's a passive 2v2, like passive supports, or if there's an aggressive passive, I most likely stand here in side lane, right? So this is how I side lane. So let's say there's a Zed on the enemy team, or there can be a Jax. You're probably going to side lane the top laner or the mid laner, right? So let's say there's a Zed, right? Zed's fucking around, Zed's fucking around. What you need to do is you need to shove the wave, and then you need to wait in Fog of War. Hide over here, hide in the bush, and then wait for him to come pick up the wave. And then what you do now is very, very, very fucking important. It's very important. You wait in the Fog of War, you burst the Zed down. You try bursting the Zed down, right? It doesn't matter if you kill him, you need to just land 1, 2, or 3 abilities. Now that he's chunked, half health, he is not comfortable fighting you. And that's very important. So now that he's half health, now you can actually walk up and hit the tower. And now he's forced to call the jungler or somebody else to come in. And if you die 2v1, that's okay. That's 100% okay. You're pressuring this tower now. But the entire side laning concept is based off of... Alright, this happened to me in one game, right? So there was a Jax. So I was hiding in this bush over here. There was a Jax over here. He was pushing, right? He was pushing. This tower was down. He was pushing. I burst the Zac. Sorry, I burst the Jax. I burst the Jax. And then afterwards, he's like, oh shit. And then he runs away. There's 2 outcomes. You kill him or he runs away and he at half health, right? Both of those 2 outcomes are in your favor. He runs away or he dies. Either or, now you are allowed 100%. He just stands here. Now you are allowed to actually hit the tower. Now you push this wave, hit the tower. Now they're forced to bring somebody bot lane if they want this tower, right? And now then your team can do something on the other side of the map. That's if you want. That's if you can side lane. You can't side lane if, like I said, there's a fight starter. And that is it. That is it for my brand mid guide. I've always wanted somebody to make a brand mid guide when I was first starting off playing League. I chose a brand because I love fire, and that's it. And I had to learn from trial and error, or you can say trial by fire, which, that sounds cool. But anyways, this is the BlueFireDudester signing out. Ignite.